The IRS may not penalize you. That's the good news. For one of the world's richest couples, the tax news today was all bad. Correspondent Harry Smith reports on a hard day for the Helmsleys.
Leona Helmsley is queen of the Helmsley and Harley hotel chain. Her husband Harry owns the Empire State Building and is one of the richest men in America. They went to court today for something less than a royal reception.
Can you comment at all about your...
The Helmsleys face a myriad of charges that quite simply contend they cheated on their taxes.
Approximately $4 million in Helmsley Company monies were used to refurbish their home.
No little remodeling job, the Helmsley estate in Connecticut has been recently enhanced by the addition of a ballroom and an indoor swimming pool.
And up top?
On top we're going to have, of course, a
Dance
dance floor.
in an old-fashioned way.
The government charges the Helmsleys wrote off the additions as a business expense. From the richest to the poorest, tax cheating is so common in this country, unpaid taxes totaled more than $80 billion last year. It's the American way, and apparently no one is feeling guilty about it.
So there is a feeling that we get back at the government this way, and I think there's a feeling again that a person who otherwise is 100% honest doesn't feel that this is cheating.
Did I ever cheat on my taxes? No.
I think a lot of people do, or they might fudge, but I don't think they're cheating.
I can't say.
Perhaps hauling the Helmsleys into court was a not-so-subtle hint from the government, as millions of Americans rush to finish their taxes by midnight tomorrow. The message? Even for the very rich, a little foxtrot past the tax man is Uncle Sam's version of dirty dancing. Harry Smith, CBS News, New York.
Back in the 60s, Leona Mindy Roberts was a very successful real estate broker in New York City. In 1972, when she married real estate magnate Harry Helmsley, a second marriage for each of them, she became the wife of one of the wealthiest men in America. Forbes magazine has Helmsley near the top of the top 400. Some even estimate his worth at up to $5 billion. Well, today, Leona Helmsley commands an empire of her own. She is president of a chain of 27 hotels. There are those who love Leona and those who distinctly don't. Last year, for instance, the New York Daily News voted her one of the 10 pushiest women in New York. Pushy or not, she's an astute businesswoman who rules over her kingdom with a jeweled fist. Among her hotels, the Park Lane, the Samaritz, and the Harley in New York, and the newest and most precious of them all, the Helmsley Palace. Her ad campaign dubs her Queen of the Palace. The campaign shows her as the gracious hostess welcoming her guests. Queen Leona, mistress of, watchdog of, every elegant touch at her palace.
Am I comfortable? I make a living.
It may be just a clever advertising ploy, but the fact is there is no task too large, no detail too small to escape the eagle eye of the Queen.
That's good.
Okay, stay there.
And like most queens, she's used to getting her own way.
Don't you think that we could get more humor into this ad, in addition to the peeking out? Well,
Did somebody catch you?
Something like that, or me catching somebody.
Well, it's hard. It's because.
Oh, that would be fun.
But it's too complicated.
If you think about it, you'll uncomplicate
it. Could look like a Norman Rockwell drawing.
Don't worry about it. He's doing fine.
Queen, we have been trying to clear your
Stop
schedule
calling
for
me
next
that.
week.
It's
Okay.
terrible.
I won't
It's really terrible.
All right, Mrs. H.
You have nothing to do.
Good evening.
Few bosses are as visible to the help as Helmsley is. She's apt to show up anytime, any place.
You're all doing very well, thank you.
Good evening.
Almost. What is that? What happened there?
We don't know.
We don't know?
We just noticed it. It just happened.
Well, let's get your engineer up here today.
You run all of these hotels?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I mean, honest to Pete, you run the hotels or you're just the figurehead, the person?
My foot. I run them.
Tough?
Very. If you're being paid to do something, do it. If you're not doing it, I'm tough and you can't work for me. Is it still leaking or isn't it?
I seem to have dried now.
It seemed to. I want the engineer up here. I want him in the ceiling, and I want to know whether it's still continuing or if it has dried out. Loud and clear?
Yes.
It's my home. It's truly my home. You need a rag there, darling. What do you do? Security. We don't need security here. Let's go outside. We have people outside.
It's being repaired.
No, that's dirt. How do you repair dirt? Let's get it up.
Let me read you a piece, or from a piece.
All right.
Faster than a guided missile, Helmsley bore down on the Matrix D.
Right.
This your room? Yes, ma'am. Don't yes, ma'am, me. I'm furious with you. This place is a disgrace. I want these trays filled, etc., etc., etc.
She's very good today. She's one of my best employees today, and you will never see that again. Not in her room. Maybe someone else's, but not hers.
So when they call you fascist...
Who calls me a fascist?
Well, come on.
This is not so clean. They say I'm tough. They don't say a man is tough. And this does not belong to... Let's go. They say he's a great businessman.
I mean, deep down, professionally speaking...
You have nothing to do? You have nothing to do?
Waiting, ma'am.
Gorgeous! Dreamboat?
But Leona Helmsley, tough businesswoman, turns into the little woman where Harry Helmsley is concerned.
He's brilliant, he's funny, and he's gorgeous.
Outside of that, I have nothing.
At 75, Harry Helmsley, who owns the Empire State Building and a couple of hundred more, is hardly slowing down. The day before we visited him in Connecticut, he told us he had picked up 80 more buildings across the country.
Look at his head. You notice it?
Yeah, it's good looking hair.
He's got a beautiful head. He has some... Turn your head, darling.
Sure.
He's got... Look, I'll show you.
I don't believe
I swear, I'll show you.
I don't believe it either, because I'm behind it.
Darling,
What do I know?
No, I'll show you something. Turn around. Look at the shape of the head. You can see the brain just sits there. I'm very serious now. Beautiful head, darling. I love it.
Look, darling, as long as you're convinced, let the rest of the world go by.
They bought this Connecticut estate a year ago, 26 acres, 28 rooms, for just the two of them.
He didn't indulge me and say, here's a little house, darling. The only thing that Harry ever indulged me with is, I have sheep.
How many sheep?
We only have 4.
Names?
One is Bo, one is Pete, one is Baw, one is Baw. Come here, Bo. Come here, Pete. Here, Bo. It's your mother. They are dumb. Come on back, Bo.
We'll make one more approach, but I don't think they'd really want to spend any time with us.
Ba!
You know something?
Huh?
I think this is the only individual I have ever seen ignore you altogether.
Wait until I take the grass away.
And this building structure is just what?
Tell him.
It's the enclosure of the swimming pool for indoor swimming in the wintertime.
Bad weather.
And up top?
On top, we're going to have, of course,
Dance
a dance floor.
in an
old-fashioned
way.
So,
Won't you stay in my... How do you like my
It's none of my
voice?
business, but...
You like my voice?
It's none of my business, but...
We're not
Just-
telling you.
What?
We're not telling you.
How much?
I don't know.
Not a penny less than $1 million for the pool and the... Silence means a sale.
you're
the absence...
just about right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got special things.
Oh, yes, it does.
It's better. For $1 million.
If you're the Helmsleys, you're never without one. A swimming pool, that is. Although in Greenwich, Connecticut, pools are a dime a dozen. But when you live in a penthouse in New York City, a pool is a trifle more unique.
And this is our terrace. Now...
Wait just a second.
Okay.
This is the 47th floor?
47th floor of the Park Lane Hotel.
About 15 yards long, swimming pool.
Right.
This is basically your exercise regime?
Yes. Well, first I do a half hour on the floor exercises. I never get out of the house. And this, of course...
Oh, my.
It's paradise.
Oh, my. How much of all of this do you Helmsleys own?
Do you Helmsleys own? Harry owns... Well, I don't know.
But you own Harry.
No, I don't own Harry. I love Harry. I don't own Harry. Unless he wants to be. He wants to be, it's okay.
But how much really does
Well,
he own of all of it?
I would say that Harry owns about 200 buildings. about 200 buildings.
And he likes to stand up here as monarch of all he surveys and say, oh, I own this, I own that.
Well, he stands here and he says, I'm taking inventory. I own this, I own this, I own this, and that one, and that one, and that one.
He plays Monopoly, but with real buildings.
With real buildings.
Did you marry Harry at all for his money? Look, you're not going to say, yes, I married Harry Helmsley for his money. But...
No, Harry Helmsley married me for my money. I gave him all my money when I married him. I gave him $1 million that I had put away for myself because I was never getting married.
What?
You heard me. I had $1 million of my own.
That you'd earned?
That I had earned, all right? As a broker, I was the best in the field. That's why he went after me, say. But when I married Harry, really, a lot of people probably did think along those lines.
Sure.
So why not, I guess. I don't get paid. I don't draw a salary.
What do you mean, you don't? Seriously? As president of the Harley Hotel?
I don't. He gives me titles. No money.
Why? Why don't you pay her a salary?
Well, I can get it for nothing. Why should I pay for something when I can get it for nothing?
Come on, Harry. Why don't you? No, I'm
That's
serious.
why he's telling you the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
I don't care about the money.
What am I going to pay her for?
Sure.
She'd put it in my bank account anyhow, and I have it back again. And then I'd have to pay tax on it because she'd be earning it.
You see?
What's mine is hers.
And vice versa. I don't care.
It's not a question of do I pay her. She owns everything I have.
Okay.
I own everything she has.
Gotcha. And she's told me that she gave you $1 million.
Well, that was in the old days when $1 million was $1 million.
You know something?
God.
That's really disgusting.
The fact is that Leona Helmsley runs a very successful operation. Her flagship Helmsley Palace Hotel is outperforming even the most optimistic predictions.
I have the rates available of 165, 175, 195.
And profits are up on most of her other hotels as well.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm coming back. Take care of your customer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then on the secondary would be 135. Okay?
You know, I noticed that they keep saying okay rather than saying okay.
You should be saying yes.
Yes, or very well, anything but.
Those who may take exception to her style surely cannot argue with the results she gets.
We thought maybe we could work with you on developing a fragrance for retail.
What are we going to call it?
Leona.
And some people say they don't like the way I smell. Forget it.
Okay.
One more complaint, I close you up. You're doing a very good job. Thank you. I asked for something. I did not get it from you. I want it.
I get the feeling, Mrs. Helmsley.
Yes.
I get the feeling that you'd be tough to deal with across the table.
Yes, but I'm fair. I'm very fair. I think I am anyway. If I feel that you're trying to outsmart me, or if you lie to me, you're through. I won't do business with you.
Now, what I'm hearing now is a businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it difficult to believe that this businesswoman turns into Cinderella at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and is playing courtesan to Harry Helmsley.
It happens. We play magic.
Are you never lonely, honest? I mean, there are the two of you, and that's it.
That's nice. Never.
You had a son.
No.
Leona Helmsley's 40-year-old son died suddenly 2 years ago of a heart ailment, and all the success, all the fulfillment of life with Harry is forgotten in a flash of pain. And then the steel reasserts itself.
I'm tough.
You mean?
I am tough.
Oh, yeah, I can
Not
see
easy.
you're tough as a difference. It seems your only vulnerability.
Don't be silly.
There are others.
People are vulnerable. Of course you're vulnerable. Touch Harry. I'll show you how vulnerable I can.